Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
While skeptics and those who did manage to buy Bitcoin at the bottom last time continue to say that we will probably see 6K or sub 6K region once again soon, I try to find some signs that this time it is different and maybe we are in the bull market from now on. So let's see what arguments I have now, and of course look at the price of Bitcoin, some news. You're watching Crypto Hamster channel. Let's go.
Let's go.
One more news from Japan. Usually I try to cover those on a regular basis, and we know that Japan is one of the countries which tried to implement blockchain and cryptocurrencies, maybe more than some others. So this time it is said that in the first Japanese city deploys online blockchain voting system, and it's actually not the first city in the world. I think there are some cities in United States, maybe one or two in Switzerland, but in general it's like one of the first places, and they will allow to use blockchain-based online voting system for all the residents of a certain city. And it's really nice, so it brings the popularity of the technology and also sort of increase the mass adoption of the blockchain in general. So let's look at the price now. Basically nothing changed again, surprisingly. We are continuing to move in the same channel, rising channel, so you can actually even draw a new support line over here. So let me do that like this, and maybe it's now close to sort of wage to with the previous trend line. So we are now at above 7,300, and now not so much of the volume, a little bit increase. Let's look at the shorts. Basically the same level which we had after the rise before, and longs are a little bit higher now, so we didn't fall after this part and the shorts didn't play the role, so probably longs believe a little bit more believers in the rise of Bitcoin in general, up to higher levels, maybe like 7,600, where we can see the global downtrend line, and whether bounce off of that or maybe even break it, so we'll see. But currently basically very nice sustainable rise, which we had already for like, I don't know, more than 2 weeks. So nothing much to add, and just want to say that in principle, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance, it's about 50% for the recent month, maybe actually above 50% for the recent 3 weeks, and the altcoin dominance is the same, around 20%. Actually the growth of Bitcoin is up for, I think, Ethereum is dominance dropped, so in that way the picture is very stable. So, but at the same time the capitalization, the global capitalization gradually rising, and now it is 236 million dollars, while it was below 200 million before, 1 billion, sorry. And the fact that the dominance ratio doesn't change much means that basically this is the new money, or money from the Tether. And actually this is interesting because recently we were like 2 times when there was the huge Tether amounts were transferred to Bitfinex, and Tether printed like again 50 millions, 100 million dollars, but we didn't have much of the price rise. So the idea is that this is the possible reason for the future rise of the Bitcoin, because Tether is used for buying it, and but actually this is the Tether from the exchange. So the only thing which it can be used is when other people will sell Bitcoin for Tether, and it's totally okay, but it's not the method for manipulation. Another question is how this is legit, because this is, this is the money from the thin air. So this is another question, but still, if this somehow may pump Bitcoin, I would be only happy, because it can initiate the global process, and then eventually it would be that important whether there is some kind of initial artificial pumping or not. We'll see though. So the thing which I was going to share with you today also is about why we maybe see this rise, a different one than the previous ones. So I tweeted some interesting plots, so you can see here the chart of Bitcoin and the rises and falls for the recent like a year. And interestingly, that rises and falls, of course, you can see they can be we can see the slope of those rises if we will just draw straight lines. And interestingly, that every next fall and every next rise were closer to horizontal line. However, so it's like the slope becomes less sharp and less and less sharp, and then eventually, last one, we had it the opposite trend. So instead of going closer to the straight line, we had it actually sharper for both for fall and for the rise. So it's interesting observation, because it was constant for a few cycles before, but now it's different. Also, we can see that the cycle, this cycle like duration is continuing to increase for 1, 2, 3 cycles. Now we're in the third, fourth cycle, and if we will continue to do the same, probably we will end up in the new maximum point at November 4th or something, like beginning of November. But with the fact that this actually changed, we may see a completely different picture. So who knows whether this will be a new cycle or will continue to go to the new all-time high. Even more interesting thing is that as you can see, the MACD here on the bottom level part, left bottom, sorry. So you can see the MACD weekly. It also had some signs of the bull market for the period of before, like all-time high, and it had the so-called downward crossovers. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to make a crossover, and then here it made a crossover. So this is a bull market, and then finally we returned to a bear market when this finally crossover happened. And in the last period of like 9 months, we had the opposite situation when we had this crossover, downtrend crossovers. So we made an attempt 1, 2, 3 times. So let me show it again, 1, 2, 3 times, and didn't make it. But actually, the distance between the approaching distance for these crossovers was smaller and smaller and smaller, and finally, basically on August 21st, we made this crossover. It means that if this is another fake one, then we turn to be in a bull market, according to the MACD indicator. Also interesting, so actually this is, I think, very huge indicator in principle. So this is another thing. So this is daily RSI, and you see that the bottoms of RSI is basically constant, but higher points, the tops are increasing. And if we will do that, then probably the next one, like this, if this trend will continue, probably the next one will be even higher, and it will be close to the previous high, which was at $20,000 for Bitcoin. So it means that maybe we will continue to make a very huge rise. Well, we'll see. This is just a trend. How will it will behave? Will it continue or not? But interestingly to see, interesting to see whether it will be sustainable, and actually this time is different than the others. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope it was useful for you. If so, then please subscribe to the channel and leave a like and comment. I would be happy if I would see you again next videos already from tomorrow. Safe trading. Goodbye.